I'm Kim and you're watching Kim Wilson TV. My channel is dedicated to helping victims of narcissistic abuse get free and stay free. Before I get going with this video, I just want to take a moment to thank our friends Red Square and Cynthia very much for your donation to our channel's PayPal account. All donations in the month of December go to help a once homeless street dog named Marley, who now is our beloved pet, get 2 surgeries and a new wheelchair. He is a paraplegic dog, and he's been doing great since in our care, and your help is greatly appreciated with this. So from my family and Marley, thank you very much for your donations to our channel's PayPal account. Now and then I run into someone or read a comment or read an article that says, "Why didn't you just leave? You knew you were in a bad situation. There was the door. Why didn't you walk through it?" And I want to talk about that today. I was in the relationship with the evil little toad narc for 5 years. I've been free for 3 years. The healing process has been absolutely, epically, unbelievably crazy, very surprising, loads and loads of layers to the onion. And it's really quite amazing how impacted my life actually has been as a result of the narc abuse. And even as you educate yourself and share your story and look at it with a very critical eye, you can see it, but there are still many questions that come up. I mean, for the most part, I'm a fairly intelligent, creative person. I'm critically thinking. I tend to really weigh out the pros and cons of a situation. So why didn't I just leave? What kept me trapped there? Well, I have some ideas about that, and I will tell you for the 5 years, well, the first year, of course, was the love bombing and idealization, and that ended very abruptly when I caught Trevor red-handed, eyewitness to his infidelity with his biological sister. Yeah, I actually walked in on that. Anyways, it went straight downhill from there, and though I left many times, I was hoovered back, and it was kind of this revolving in and out door at Trevor's house of pain until my final departure, and that exit strategy took me 7 months to execute. Okay, so 3 years out, I'm looking back on that, and I ask myself, why didn't I just leave? I mean, what was going on with me? There was something that I know I said to Trevor over and over again. "Trevor, where are you? Are you in there?" I had actually come to believe that the original man that I had met was the real Trevor. And somehow, as a result of my inability to be a good partner, to take care of him the way he needed to be taken care of, he had somehow morphed into this monster, which I was responsible for, therefore dumping all the responsibility of fixing him, fixing the relationship, stomping out the fires. Well, all that relationship problem fell on me. And I really did get caught up, swept up in this crazy, frantic, absolutely manic need to fix him, fix the relationship, fix all the shit that was broken with me so I could just be the good partner he wanted to have. I truly believed the problem was me. Well, for God's sakes, he kept telling me the problem was me. Meanwhile, back at the ranch, of course, you look on at it now and you see what an evil, diabolical little toad he is. But the manipulation was incredible. Absolutely incredible. I had fallen hook, line, and sinker under his spell. I truly did believe that wonderful initial doting, my twin flame, my soulmate, I believed that guy was real. And somehow, as a result of my negligence, my inability to be a good partner, my wonderful, beautiful, loving partner had morphed into this monster. And yeah, I'm just pretty perplexed by all of that. Why was I unable to take that fleeting love bombing and idealization, though it was riddled with red flags, and see it for what it was? Why was I unable to see that this monster that I was living with in this horrendous pit of hell, Trevor's house of pain, was the real Trevor? How, even once the whole thing started to come apart, how could I not see it? I get free, and on one hand, I'm absolutely elated to be free, but on the other hand, I'm desperately sad, miserable, and desperate to get back in there to try again relentlessly to fix it. I do understand, why people will say, why didn't you just leave? Now, of course, when you're in it, we get it. I mean, there's a million traps. There's a million reasons not to leave. And for some of us, if you've got kids, business obligations with each other, investments, holdings, it can be very, very difficult to leave. But I think it's bigger than that. It's bigger than those really obvious ties that bind us to the narc. There's something psychological that was going on, for me particularly. My thoughts now in retrospect are this. Okay, so there was this fleeting great guy in my life who morphed into a monster, who had a sexual relationship with his biological sister in the house we lived in while I was home, busy with other things like what the hell, who had expressed to other people a sexual interest in his very, very young daughters. Like, I knew all this stuff. I knew I felt sick and sad when I was with him. I knew I was miserable and unhappy. I knew he was cheating on me. I knew he was lying to me. I knew he was stealing my money. So even if in my mind at that time that once great guy was real, I mean, I know now it's a fraud, but then I thought he was real. So even believing he was real and all this other stuff happening, why didn't I run away? Why didn't I get the hell out of there? I mean, it was bad. It was horrendous. I felt sick all the time. My physical health was diminishing. He was physically harming me. He was spitting on me. He was knocking me down. He was very physically abusive, emotionally abusive, verbally abusive. So even if that guy had been real, why would I have stayed in that? Hundreds of you have said to me, Kim, I know what the creature is, be it male or female, black or white, gay or straight. You know the thing is absolutely diabolical, yet somehow you're still looking for this one-time great person. A million times I said to Trevor, are you in there? Where are you? Like somehow the original sweetheart had been consumed by this monster, and I was trying to pull him back out of this monster suit. I guess a perplexing aspect of this for me is, okay, so I'm looking for this once great guy, but I'm looking for the great guy in what is clearly an absolutely disgusting, diabolical piece of shit from hell, yet I'm still knocking on its forehead, hello, are you in there? Had have somehow been able to pull the original Trevor out of this monster, it didn't change the fact that I was dealing with a monster, that the person in my life was making me sad and ashamed and humiliated and hurt all the time. And okay, so we all know there's momentary reprieves where they kind of catch on that you're getting fed up with this, or you're backing out and they kind of suck you back in again. I mean, 2-3 day reprieve from the abuse where he'd be somewhat pleasant. But nonetheless, overall, it was a living nightmare. So why I would even consider the possibility that I could get this original guy out of what had been a horrible relationship with a monster for many years, like, that blows my mind. I just don't get it. And this question comes up from time to time. Why didn't you just leave? And it always feels very insensitive, very cold, and very callous. But lately I've been asking myself, why didn't I leave? Because in that is information about me, my tolerance for abuse, my ability to just let someone diminish me, to hurt me, to harm me, humiliate me, cheat on me, spit on me. I have to look at that and I have to ask myself, why didn't I just leave? To be able to really restore our lives and to fully heal and to meet our full potential, we have to understand what was happening to us. So many of us felt like we were under some type of mind control or manipulation. We saw the red flags, but we ignored them. We ignored our intuition. And in this is a tremendous amount of information about us, and it has nothing to do with the narc. And I think very, very important for all of us in the future to be looking in, not looking out. We know what they are. We know what their agenda is. They're so predictable. They're all the same. They're all playing out the exact same playbook. We know it. We see it. We get it. But there is information about us that we really need to be considering. What the hell happened that caused us to allow ourselves to be abused, to allow ourselves to be isolated, to be financially incapacitated, to have our careers destroyed, to be called names, to be put down, to be cheated on, to be lied to be robbed, and to allow all of that to happen in the name of love. I mean, there's something going on there, and I truly do believe that there is a very diabolical force at work here, an incredible soul tie that's created through the manipulation, the mind control, and this fantasy, this illusion that we've met our soulmates. That soulmate concept in itself is really quite interesting, because prior to meeting Trevor, had the term soulmate come up, I would have said, oh, that's a myth. Relationships are built over time, through shared experiences, through shared struggles. Relationships are something that are built and made strong over time. So why all of a sudden did this belief system that I would have instantly debunked become so real to me? All of a sudden there I am believing in soulmates, unicorns, and magic fairies. I mean, it's really quite perplexing and truly out of my nature to believe, in love at first sight. I have worked hard for everything I've ever achieved, and any great relationships I've ever been a part of were worked at. Foundations were built together. Narcissistic abuse does not happen by accident. It is extremely covert, methodical, extremely well thought out and planned. The narc knows what's coming long before you ever even engage in conversation with them. The second they lay eyes on you and target you, they know exactly how it's going to play out, because they're running that hamster wheel. The love bombing, idealization, devaluing, dumping, discarding. It's a constant part of their life. They just keep repeating the same thing, so they know what's going on. They know they're going to repeat this again, whether they want to or not. They are absolutely enslaved to this cycle. We have no idea, of course, but we are seeing red flags. And for those of us who are looking for a relationship that is much more stable, built over time, this idea of this fanciful love bombing and, soulmate concept is really quite bizarre. Though I absolutely fell for it, I completely did. And thought patterns that typically were not mine became very much mine. They had been implanted on me, most certainly, as a result of the love bombing and the idealization. And I just feel really perplexed by that. I don't know why I ignored the red flags. I don't know why I ignored my gut, because my gut has always been very honest, very loyal, and very faithful to me. And I've always paid close attention to it. But I didn't in this case. And that's why I go back to the fact that so many of us, once meeting the narc, once being targeted by the narc, and once that love bombing started, even though we saw the red flags, we ignored it. We acted very much outside of our normal behaviors. Our really indoctrined ideas about things started to change as a result of this narcissistic abuse. The mind control manipulation was so intentional and so effective that I was thinking in ways, developing new belief systems that were not naturally my own. And the question comes up for me now, why didn't you just leave? I'm able to answer that question, and the way I would answer it through much exploration and a fairly clear picture. I mean, hindsight is always 20/20, right? I'm going to say And would say, if asked that question today, why I didn't leave is because I was under some sort of hypnotic state. Now, that might sound crazy to you, but why I know that's true for me is I remember clearly the moment the trance broke. I remember clearly how just the whole color of the world changed. Everything changed. Everything felt dark, kind of smoky, almost lacking in clear color. It was a very strange and surreal time in my life, a time of great confusion, great heartache, and I really felt like I was flailing, like I was just flying around and I couldn't grab onto anything. Like my career was tanking, my family was tanking, my kids were mad at me, my mother was shaking her head in utter disbelief. I mean, it was everywhere I looked. I mean, I just couldn't find anything stable to grab onto, and I just felt like I was in a tornado. And all of a sudden, one day, I was probably about 6 months out, shortly after I started the channel. I did a video about this several years ago when it just broke. Like, it just, this moment of clarity where I went, holy God, I'm back. Like, where have I been? Like, oh my God, like, we're not in Kansas anymore. I mean, it was unbelievable. This incredible moment of clarity where I could just see it. So for those of you who are still caught in this hypnotic state, in this trance, in this residual of the love bombing, still believing that somehow there's a good man in this or a good woman in this monster, Godspeed, that the trance breaks for you very, very quickly. And if you really start to look at it and ask yourself, and I think it was this question coming up over and over again, why didn't you just leave? Yeah, it sounds cold. Yeah, it sounds callous. But I had to start to ask myself that. Why didn't I just leave? What the hell is happening to me? Why have I adopted these new belief systems? Why am I acting so out of my nature? Like, it's not really in my nature to let people just shit on me relentlessly. I'm not into that. I don't shit on people, and I don't want people shitting on me. And I just want people to just play fair. And, you know, I've always been a great advocate for fair play. And over my lifetime, when I have encountered abusive people, I've been able to stand up for myself and say, whoa, hold on a minute here. You know, I'm willing to engage in conversation with you, but please don't put me down. Don't belittle me. Don't yell at me. You know, I want to treat you with respect. Please treat me with respect. And I always felt like I had good boundaries around that until that evil little diabolical monster. Question, why didn't you just leave, can sound very cold. It can be very callous, and it can actually hurt you, because it hurt me when people would ask me that. I was already wallowing in misery, and now putting that responsibility on me was very painful. And I was really afraid to look at it, but in a loving and compassionate way, as a friend, as a member of your collective, I'm going to ask you very gently today, why didn't you just leave? If you're still there, why are you staying? Because even if you can find that wonderful man or woman that you initially fell in love with, it doesn't erase what they've done to you. It doesn't change the fact that they're capable, willing, capable, and eager to inflict great harm on you. It doesn't change any of that. I don't know how you guys are feeling about this, and since this is a we situation, I just want to throw this out there. Guys, we have been exploring every aspect of narcissistic abuse, and truly I'm going to sum it up like this. They're all the same. They're so predictable. They're just so weak and so frail. They're absolutely hollowed out meat suits packed full of demons, and I'm sick of talking about them. I do believe the world is changing fast, and I do believe that these changes are going to require a thick skin. They are going to require each and every one of us to be the best we can be, to be healthy and of sound mind. I'm going to start to make some changes here at the channel. I hope you guys are in agreement, but I really don't want to look at the narcs anymore. I want to look at us. I want to talk about how we've been affected and how we can overcome these obstacles that we all now face, because let me tell you, it's a long road to healing. It is a long and bumpy road, but the one thing that I know sure as shit, sure as my name is Kim Wilson, We will all get through this together. Come hell or high water, we are going to heal from this and we are going to move on. But we need to do it at a quicker pace. We need to be really healing focused. And I guess the issue for me is so many new people keep finding the channel and they're just waking up to it and they're scared and they're not sure what to do. I mean, I get all that. I've been there. I've been in your shoes. And to those of you, I say, please go back on my old videos. There's over 400 of them. Over 400. Oh my God. But there is answers there, so we can kind of stay on pace now, because I do believe the way the world is changing, we need everyone to be as healthy as they can possibly be. We need to be pushing for recovery. Guys, there's so many things that are important to me, like good nutrition, exercise, diet, all sorts of mental exercises that we can do to repair the brain damage we've all suffered. There's just, in my opinion, a direction that we need to take as a group that's really about us. We've looked at them for long enough, and God, you guys mean the world to me. I gotta tell you, like, we did Christmas here at our house yesterday on Christmas Eve because my boys had to work today, so we just ran through yesterday like it was Christmas Day, and today is Christmas Day. And I said to the boys, we had a great Christmas together, but I'm really glad to be spending today with you guys. You guys mean the world to me, and I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for you guys. This has been a we effort from the very beginning. When you guys thank me for my contribution, I've got to thank you for your contribution, because truly this has been an incredible collective coming together and sharing your stories. And for all of you that email me and leave comments and share the videos, thank you. Thank you a million times. We are going to get through this. No, first and foremost, no matter what, we are going to heal from this. We're going to do it hand in hand. We're going to do it shoulder to shoulder, and we're going to do it like an army, because the world needs empaths to be restored. As long as we are all driven into isolation, there is this huge global lacking of empathy. We're all hiding in our homes while the world's running riot. This shit has got to stop, and I truly believe that the effort that we've made to help each other has been incredible. And if we can get stronger and we can share that and we can shine that light out on the world, we might be able to make a difference in 2019. Guys, I love you lots, and 2019 has absolutely got my heart bursting with hopefulness and promise. I'm Kim. You're watching Kim Wilson TV. I hope you guys are having a great narc-free day.